Hi, guys. Welcome back to another The Deciding Factor Podcast Extra. I'm John.
And I'm Alton.
And we've got Barb joining us again, as well as a guest you may have seen on our other show, Donnie Boivin. He is back for more, and we're going to find out more about you, Donnie, if that's okay. We're going to get a little personal and up close.
Sure, let's have some fun.
Nice. And we're going to hopefully not screw things up too much for your future in podcasting, right?
Well, I learned a long time ago, if somebody's not getting pissed off at you, you're not being authentic anyway. So let's have some fun.
Well, Barb,
just what I said today.
Barb, now's your chance. You can piss him off all you want on this show.
I'm saying I've been living for this day. This interview is exciting.
Guys, if you're just now tuning into our show for the first time, you will find that this is not our normal podcast and that this is a little off the hinges at times. We will play games, we'll talk news, or in this instance, we'll find out something personal. And it's different from our normal podcast. Our normal podcast, we get pretty serious. And like Donnie's going to teach us in his podcast, is more about networking, networking as well as the Success Champions. So guys, make sure you check us on our normal show. Make sure you follow us on social media. And guys, this is the Deciding Factor Extra.
Bringing you their thoughts on today's news and current events. Coming to you from Austin, Texas. This is the Deciding Factor Extra. With your hosts, Alton Hill and John Herzog.
How do I get a cool voice like that? The Deciding Factor.
You can hire
Amazon. Yeah.
Oh, Amazon. You can buy it for sale.
Whatever.
Just stand in the mirror all night,
Right, and practice it.
The Deciding Factor Extra.
Right, you gotta get that lean in.
Whatever.
Deciding Factor Extra.
Screw this. Okay.
You're welcome. No, seriously. I mean, like Heather was telling me yesterday, she's teaching the kindergartner how to pronounce words and things. And she was like H. And I'm like, you're so weird. It's like, I'm going to start calling you. She's like, you're creeping me
Did you
out,
ask her
man.
what word begins with?
Anyway, are we doing a podcast?
I was trying to, but I guess not.
Sorry, just edit that out, man.
Yeah. All right, Donnie. So you're a former Marine, right? You did that for like a month or so, and then left.
4 years.
Oh, okay, 4 years. There we go. And then now you're doing this Success Champions, which has been pretty dadgum successful.
I get it. Sorry. I thought that was the pun. But my bad.
Invited Alton.
Yeah. I've lost it
Eye
already.
candy, you got
It's working for me, man. I'm telling you, it's working for me.
So clearly your stuff is a little more professional than ours, but what got you to go into the military? Let's start off with that.
So cool. I don't get that asked that very often. Through most of my high school, the teachers had a really good phrase that they would tell me in between grades, and it was, "Hey,
Shut
we're
up."
past." Well, that too. Well, but they a lot of them would look at me and literally tell me they're passing me on, so there's no way in hell they can get me back to next year. I remember the first time mom and dad get called up to the school, and my vice principal's name was Susie Compton. And so we go into that's how well I knew my vice principal. But we go in there and she goes, "This is a normal kid's folder." And she pulls out this little thin manila folder, right? That's fold over, a couple of slips in there. Then she goes, kaboom, kaboom, two big ass folders that are like, binder clip and rubber bands. She's like, "These are Donnies." Right. So that's how my parents got to meet my principals. Well, my oldest brother went to the Marine Corps. He actually did 24 years in the Marine Corps, retired from it.
Wow.
You know, it's really cool. His wife and him did all 24 years pretty much together, had their kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so the kids did Okinawa and all the traveling overseas and stuff. So it was a really, really cool experience for them. But he had gone to the Marine Corps, and you know, I got to the point coming out of high school or getting close to graduating where I realized that I had no trajectory in my life. You know, I knew there was no way in hell I was going to college, right? I'm not college material. I'm not a book learner, and I hate teachers. Not now.
And now you're a teacher.
Right. Well, now I do teach some
Gotcha.
things,
means
but
you're
I
a
teach
teacher.
things the way I understand it and learn, you know. And so I literally went from, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't want to get a regular job. We were blue collar. So I went from, I don't know what I want to do, to my mom and dad telling me at one point, if I don't change my ways, I'll probably end up in prison because I was doing a lot of stupid things. And who knows what would have happened if I didn't go. But from there, I went straight up to the recruiting office and enlisted almost immediately. It wasn't necessarily one of those things where it was a choice. It was just an opportunity in front of me that sucked less than everything else. So I thought. But then you take a kid that doesn't like to be told what to do, doesn't like authority, doesn't like rules, doesn't like people yelling at them, and I list in the Marine Corps of all freaking things. Yeah, smart damn move, Donnie. Smart move. You know, I can tell you, going through boot camp was a seriously wild ride for me. About training day 17, I got hurt the first time. I actually got cellulitis in my leg, and got sent down to what's called MRP, Medical Rehabilitation Platoon. And on the way to that platoon, my senior Staff Sergeant Larman looked right at me and goes, "You're going to wash out." And he goes, "I'm sending you down because I don't think you can do this." Well, the first surefire way to get me to do almost anything is tell me I can't do it, you know? So I spent a week in MRP, get healthy, and I get attached to a second unit. Well, a month into that unit, we're going up a name I can't say on this show, but it's called Mount Mother Trucker. But think of the other word you could put in its place. You're welcome for that. And that's the big, it's called a hump. It's the hike you do in the Marine Corps. It's kind of that you've completed second phase back when I went through. And I was 100 steps from the top when my left foot popped, get a closer, my right foot pops. And I finished the whole thing. And at the end, the corpsman, you know, they look at your feet, make sure everything's good. Yeah, they had to cut my boots off. I had 3 stress fractures on my right foot. I had 2 stress fractures and a full fracture on my left foot. So I get sent back down again to Medical Rehabilitation Platoon. And now, where you're supposed to be like 13 weeks in boot camp, I spent 6 months. In Marine Corps boot camp around all these guys that are screaming, and they're not as hardcore on you when you're in MRP, but now I'm in a space of crap. I'm stuck here. I have 2 moon boots on my freaking feet because they didn't put me in cast. They put me in the Velcro freaking moon boots. Mm-hmm. And you know, that was me 6 months in freaking Marine Corps boot camp. Yeah, good times.
Wow. So you got all the teachers wanted to get rid of you every year, and then you get to this, and they wanted to keep you in as long as possible.
Right.
Man, that sucks.
They said they were going to break me. They just proved it.
Yeah,
nailed it.
Like my mind was prepared, my feet not so.
Right.
So can you tell us a story that is not classified of your time in the military?
Oh yeah, you know what? Why not? So we went to Norway and we did Operation Battle Griffith is what it's called. And in Norway, there's the cold weather caves where I was a motor team mechanic, and you go up and you do all the maintenance on all the cold weather gear. I don't think I can describe what's in the caves and all that stuff, but while we're up there in Norway, we're in a city called Trondheim. And Trondheim is one of the tallest areas in Norway, which is by far the cleanest country I've ever been to. Just clean, great, nice people. I love Norway. It was amazing. Ireland comes in as a close second. But while there, we literally slept in a concentration camp. That's where our base was. So we're in this town, and there's a couple stories, but the creepiest one was where the officer stayed was in this building. And as you walked in the door, there was a hatch. And as you lift the hatch up, and you weren't supposed to be there probably, you go down and it's all cells with these big stone doors on it. And the only thing that you can see into the cells, these windows like this. It was probably one of the creepiest things I've ever been close to while we were there. It was scary. But that's where we stayed was basically one of the concentration camps. It had been converted into a military quarters and all kinds of stuff, but we weren't allowed town liberty. And so liberty is, when you get leave to go into town. So me and a buddy of mine, and I'll leave him out of this so he could tell his own stories some other day. But we decided, dang it, we're in Norway. We're going to sneak out and go see what this damn city's like. So there's Constantine wire all around everything. We decided that we were going to jump the fence, hail a taxi, and go into downtown Trondheim. So we do. We jump a fence, we hail a cab, and we get in Trondheim. We go bar hopping. The funniest thing, so I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. The bar we end up getting to, I think it was called like the News or something. And we go in and we sit down at this bar, and we're talking to all the Norwegian women and everything, having a good time. But there's a neon light on the back wall, and we keep looking at this neon light. And my buddy's from Jersey, and I'm like, dude, I know what that neon is, but I can't figure it out. It was a freaking Dallas, Texas skyline in neon and in a Norwegian bar, on the back thing. So we're drinking and having a good time. We're not supposed to be in town, but we decide, a couple girls asked us to go out on the dance floor. So we go out on the dance floor, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden my buddy, he elbows me in the side, goes, "We're done." I'm like, "What happened?" Look up. Chief Warrant Officer Klein is right there dancing on the floor as well. So his ass isn't supposed to be out either. So none of us are. And so here we are. All of us have snuck out. My gunny's over there. My chief warrant officer's out there. And we're all boozing it up. And Gunner Klein looked like Johnny Bravo, just the big meathead, the flat top, the highlights. And so, yeah, exactly. And he just looks at me and my buddy and goes, "Don't get caught and don't say a word." And that was all he said to us, and just walked away. So, but the last thing that I can tell you about that one is we wanted, McDonald's. We wanted to see what McDonald's was like in another country. So we're walking to McDonald's. Now, this is, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and we're walking to McDonald's. This little girl walks up to us, probably 9, 10 years old. And she walks up to me, and she says something to me, and I go, "Oh, I'm sorry. I only speak English. I don't know what you said." She changes dialects, and she asks me again. And I'm like, starting to get worried. I'm like, I don't know what you're asking me. She changes dialects a third time and asks me something again. And now me and my buddy are looking around like, oh, crap. Is she lost? Where's going? She looks at me, starts giggling. She goes, "No, I just said, how are you in 4 languages? Bye," and runs off. She was literally saying how dumb of an American I am, that she could speak 4 languages and knew that I could probably barely speak English. So
is that a way to prove her point? There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking there for a second that was going to turn into one of these uneasy rider stories. Have you heard okay. Nobody gets my uneasy rider.
No.
Sorry. I
No.
want to know how he got back in, because you tell the story about the trap door, and I was thinking that somehow your drunk self ended up, back through.
No,
Are you gonna tie this all
no,
together for me so that?
Yeah. So we hailed a taxi back to base, and we had to go back over the Constantine wire. Well, we knew the conversion rate for the Norwegian money, so the taxi driver tried to screw us dumb Americans out of cash, and we had some words with the taxi driver, making the Americans look amazing, as we always do in the military.
In one language. Yeah.
In one language, right. And, we worked out the money. Yes, we worked out the money issues. And as we're jumping back over the fence, now I only took like 1 pair of jeans with me because we weren't getting a whole lot of libo. We weren't going out in town. There was only one scheduled time, like the units were going out into town. So, as I'm going over the Constantine wire, of course I ripped the hell out of my crotch of my pants, coming back over the wire.
Is that your excuse?
Yeah, that's the one we're gonna say right now. No, it was 100%. And we sneak back into the barracks. Well, all of our 5 tons and things are right there. So me and my buddy, of course, had way too many drinks, and there was an incident that happened, and we didn't think anything of it, and we went to bed. Well, the next day, we're obviously hungover and carrying on, and we hear screaming and yelling. Well, a window got broken, and me and my buddy, being the good guys that we were, our gunny comes in and goes, "I need you to help us figure out who the hell broke these windows." And we're like, "Yes, we will. We will absolutely help you figure out who broke the windows," because our dumbasses threw a rock through a window in our drunken stupor and broke a window. I don't know to this day who caught the heat for that, but it wasn't us.
So that's the incident then. So I was assuming okay, you went out and got drunk. I assume that you found McDonald's. You got shown up by a 9-year-old. I assumed there was vomiting at the end of this, and that was the incident. But not so much. No. That happened on the trip, the other Norway trip that we did. We were actually sanctioned to be out in town, and we met a bartender who taught us what happy shots are. And happy shots are a bunch of drunk Marines sitting around a bar that don't know what shots are they should order. So he just starts making random nasty things and throwing them into shot glasses and pouring them. And we just kept drinking and paying for them. So that you want to be a
Nice.
bartender.
That's how you get a hair on your chest.
Right. So,
Oh man,
Alan, what
that's
you
a funny
got?
story. So you have a podcast, right?
I do.
Tell
Maybe.
tell us about your craziest experience in podcasting.
Well, I'll tell the Neil Patel story. So Neil Patel, if you guys know who he is, he's one of the influencer YouTube guy, SEO guy. He's a pretty well-known guy, really nice guy. But his team had reached out to be on the podcast to do the interview, and I said, sure, we'll do that. I don't know anything about SEO, so it'd be a good way to learn SEO. And I really thought that, we were going to get into some cool conversations. Well, the day of the interview comes, and most people, when they're going to be interviewed, they're in their booths, and they're all set up, headset on, and Neil comes on the show, and he's talking into his phone, into his kitchen, and his brother's like sitting over here, or a brother, or the guy he works with, I don't remember for sure, and he's like, "Hold on, I'm fixing to be interviewed. Hold on, I'm fixing to be interviewed." And I'm like, "Neil, is there any chance you can go to a quieter place, maybe put a headset on?" He goes, No, this will be good. This will be good. I'm like, okay. And so we start going, and then somebody asking the question, I said, "All right, Neil," I said, "I'm not going to do this unless at least go off and do it." So we eventually got down to a really cool interview. It did, and he dropped some knowledge bombs, but I honestly don't think he knew that he was fully showing up to an interview. I think he thought he was showing up to the pregame. So I don't know if my team and his team got, their wires crossed, but when we first sat down, it was not what either one of us expected it was going to be.
Man.
But he is a really damn good guy.
Man, I always hate it when we get a guest and I do a lot of the pre-show talks with them, and they do really great. It's very entertaining. They're upbeat. They don't seem crazy. And then some of them get on the show and it's like, what the hell are you
Dude,
doing?
I'm sitting right here. You ain't going to say this out loud when he's sitting here.
No, this is a payback for all the rest of the shows you did with us, jerk.
No, but and one other thing, just follow up, of all the podcasting that you've done, what do you think's your huge takeaway? Like, if you had to stop podcasting today, what would you be like? Bam, this is what I got out of it.
Podcasting taught me how to run a business. And what I mean was, as I got into podcasting, my business was not doing well. And I was still trying to figure out how to be a business owner. And, I spent 20 years as a straight commission sales guy. So this whole idea of going from an employee to a business owner was a massive leap for me. And up until I found podcasting, I didn't really create a business. I'd really just created a job that wasn't all that fun. You know, it was a little, you know, late nights, long hours, and I wasn't making a whole lot of money. And when I got into podcasting and my show took off and I found some great success, which has been fun, you know, it's taken me around speaking around the US and, you know, Ireland and some other cool places. But what was interesting as the show grew, you know, more and more bigger names started asking to come on the show and, you know, having some great conversation. And I kept telling myself, dude, you can't have a shit show. Right. If you're going to do this, it's got to be legit. And so I had to bring on teams. I had to start figuring out systems and processes and, you know, pregame and, you know, the conversations and getting everything organized. And I think that's ultimately what saved my business was podcasting, because I had to learn how to do all the things I didn't know how to do. And it became the catalyst for everything else because, you know, because of the podcast, we launched a Facebook group. Because of the Facebook group, we launched a magazine. Because of the magazine, we launched a summit. You know, because of COVID, we launched networking groups, you know. But it all stems, all of it goes back to the, you know, I don't know where my company would be if I had not started the Success Champions podcast. You know. So,
but how did you know when you had finally made it? Because, you know, Barb and them, they think we've made it, and I'm like, no.
I was gonna say, have you made it, Donnie?
No, define made it. I don't know if you ever
got 9 goats, man. Come on,
dude. You want to trade some goats? I mean, if you want to trade some goats, then we work that out. You know. I think probably a couple of the funniest experiences is when a fellow podcaster reached out and said, dude, do you realize your show's in the top 100 of all podcasts? And I said, what does that mean? And he had to explain to me the Apple charts or there was iTunes charts at that point. It's now Apple charts. But and so I got the screenshot of my show sitting, you know, right between Tim Ferriss and I think it was Jocko at the time, and my show's sitting right between them. Yeah. It's like episode or, you know, number 22 podcast from all podcasts. And so that was cool. And for me, that was, holy crap, this is actually working and people are actually listening to the show. And what's funny is I still didn't know what I was doing. I was still fumbling through it, trying to figure it out. And the podcast was for me. It wasn't to grow a business. I wanted to meet people who had, you know, cool stories and had done cool things. And I wanted to hear from them and learn from them. So it's been a cool evolution to do all the way up to, you know, as the recording of this, you know, my last episode I put out it's a live coaching call where somebody's coaching me live on the air. And that was a cool experience. I mean, for the coach, he kept saying, I can't believe you got the balls to do this. And I'm like, I don't understand why that's a big thing. I'm like, you know, everything about me is out there in public, you know, pretty much anyway. So what's one more thing, me talking about my childhood? I don't care. You know, and you know, for me, because people sometimes are asking me, like, why are you able to tell the stories you do about yourself and whatnot? Because I have no problem telling people how much I've screwed up business and learned along the way. And it comes back to when I launched my business, nobody was saying, hey, this is hard. Nobody was saying that you're going to work harder on this than anything you've ever done. Everybody was like, you know, start a business. It's easy. You'll have freedom. You know, you're going to be a millionaire overnight. And entrepreneur became the new multi-level marketing. You know, and, you know, so as I was into it and I was at my worst and almost lost my farm in the process and everything else, I determined right then and there that, you know, I was going to be the guy that I always wanted, you know, out there telling people the real raw side. Sometimes this shit sucks. You know, it's a lot of damn work.
Is that true, Alton?
And well, I mean, I was actually I was listening to John Maxwell and Steve Harvey today, and I thought that was a pretty cool collaboration. I love both of those guys. And that was one of the things that they talked about was authenticity and transparency, and how, you know, both of them are trying to help people around them. And so it's like if you just met them today, you're like, oh yeah, it was easy for you. Yeah, right. And Steve Harvey's like, I slept in a car for 7 years, you know? And so I think that helps people connect with you, you know? And I think when people are saying, oh, how could you do that? It's like they're speaking from their own insecurities, right? But you're, you know, trying to do things and change things and help. And anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah, well, you know, the thing I think people don't understand about being authentic is people think when you say you've got to be authentic that they need to share every detail of their life and their journey, and that's just not true. I could give a shit what you had for breakfast, right? I don't care. You know, so what I tell everybody, you know, at the end of the day, if you're being authentic, what you're being authentic about is the stuff you want to geek out with other people on. Uh-oh, there's my internet's jacking up on me, right? But it's like, I love Harry Potter. I love fantasy movies. You know, I love, you know, drinking rum. You know, those things are fun to me. And you'll hear all my fucked up stories of running a business because I want to geek out with people to talk business. You know, and if hearing my screw ups helps you not do the same screw ups, or at least going into that screw up with a better mindset, I'm 100% okay with that. But you'll never hear my wife's name said on a podcast, an interview, or anything because it's none of anybody's damn business who my wife is, right? So being authentic is not sharing everything. Being authentic is literally just sharing the stuff you want to geek out on with other people, whatever you're into, even if John doesn't like Rocky movies.
There we go. And we're still going to be best friends after this.
I like that definition.
So Barb's experienced a lot of our favorite favorites, fans, I guess you would call them. So what's your worst fan or troll that you've had?
Yeah, I'll actually, this one's easy. Well, there are a couple of them, but the first one I'll talk about, the reason I don't talk about my wife is in my Facebook group, a gal joined the Facebook group and she asked in the group who my wife was. And I said, well, you know, she's a part of the group. She's no longer part of the group, but she was at the time a part of the Facebook group. And this gal proceeded to go through and befriend my wife and send all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, it was to the point I removed her from the group. We had contacted attorneys. I mean, it was fucking stupid. Pardon my French. Sorry. Yeah. Wow. So I instantly said, never again will I bring my wife up in all of this. You know, and just crazy. Now, I've had some really fun, like recently on TikTok, I put out a video of an interview that I was on.
Wait, you
and
TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, but this is going to be funny for you. Yeah,
and you make fun of me for not wanting to watch Rocky videos.
Dude, I make fun of you just because, well, look at you.
But you're there.
But so I have somebody on my team, and all she does is, and her name's Tatiana, all she does is go find shows that I was interviewed on, and she takes clips for those, and that's become my TikTok videos. So, you know, there's a video out there of me interviewing with a guy from the UK, and we're talking, I don't even remember what the content is, but a guy comes on and he literally goes, "This is crap from the 1980s. Go to bed, grandpas." And that's his comment on TikTok, right? So I told my team, I'm like, hold my beer and watch this shit. So the next video is me. I put that quote right above my head and tag his username in a post. I'm like, fuck, I'm trying not to cuss. Freaking thank you for this, because you just got me 45 new followers and 5,000 more people to view this thing. Thanks for calling me grandpa. You know,
That's
so I love trolls.
I do too. That's so funny.
You can take a guess as to what Alton really likes then, right? Just
trolling.
Look above just look above his head and tell me what you think he might like to do.
Oh, is that my
Well, I can't read it all.
It says wake up early and do a little twirly and punch depression, kick anxiety in the beanbags. It's a little clear.
It's the twirly. Have you seen that video?
I don't know what twirling
really
is.
Surprised if you had.
So,
Nancy,
Alton, you want to show us how to do the dance real quick? So he has something to put on TikTok later?
Wow.
Come on.
I'm gonna opt out.
Dang.
See,
I tried to help you,
Dude,
Donnie.
if somebody doesn't freaking go like, when you edit this thing, edit a twirling video in here, I'm going to be highly disappointed.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing that obviously everybody now needs to know.
Yeah,
So I will
Pamela
definitely
Pumpkin.
put it in the description. I don't know that I can air
Pamela
it on
Pumpkin.
here,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
it's Do a Little Twirly by who?
Pamela Pumpkin.
Pamela Pumpkin. So
I like awkward stuff and weird.
That's a good one.
yeah, you think I'm bad. Just wait till you actually
Is that
get to
because
know
you're
that guy.
so high energy, Alton?
I just like secretly when I was younger, I got embarrassed and I just really didn't. I mean, nobody likes getting embarrassed, but it's like, man, I don't want to keep doing this. And then so I said, what can I do about it? And I'm like, just embrace it and pretend like you love it. And so now any awkward moments are like where you can tell people are like really on edge. I just inside, I secretly just grab my popcorn and just embrace the whole thing. So
Yeah, and you're close enough that you might see him in the store at Lowe's, and he'll hug you. So be aware of it.
hey, people need hugs, man.
What you got, Barb? Anything?
Oh, I love Donnie's logic about trolls. I have been asking John for permission to be the troll master because I caught a few and I was really proud of it. I feel like, there's these, you talk about having made it, like, how do you know that you've arrived? I think when everything I put on social media is flagged, that makes me feel like I've, like you said, authentic, like I've done something right in the world. And when I get people that come on and say, good gracious lady, you're exhausting. And I'm like, I like this, because then it gets another 45 people looking, like you're saying. I mean, I had a tremendously good time with it.
Yeah, we
So-
talk about tens of people, and you talk about thousands of people. So that's where we're at.
But the tens was exciting to me. Like that was
Right. No, and celebrate. It's like, so my latest book, Endless Stream of Referrals, came out on Amazon, and we're excited. It sold like 5,000 copies so far, and it continues to go. Nice. Don't get excited. It was 99-cent book. So
that's
I priced
exciting,
it right.
Man.
Yeah, I love it. I truly do. But I got my first 4-star review I've ever had on one of my, or 1-star review, on a book I've ever put out. And the book starts off Donnie style. I'm like, okay, I'm a former Marine and I cuss. So let's get this bullshit out of the way. That's how the book starts. And so I'm assuming that's why I got the 1-star review. But there was, I didn't see it. Somebody came and said, hey, you got a 1-star review. Are you going to try and flag it, get rid of it? Hell no. I screenshotted that thing, made a meme out of it, and I went, holy hell, guys, I've made it because somebody besides my mom just read my book.
Yep.
And I'm like, celebrate that stuff. Somebody takes the time and energy out of their day to go out of the way and thrash your stuff. I want to hug that person. They won't let me, but I mean,
try Lowe's. Sometimes people are more available there.
Obviously.
Quick correction. It was Home Depot, but go ahead.
So you're really getting the blue collar guys. You're brave. But I mean, at the end of the day, when somebody takes the time and energy out to say something, slander you, anything else, they're coming from their own place. Right. So I'm empathetic to wherever they're showing up in the world. And truthfully, if them trolling me at the moment makes them feel better, if it helps them release some pent up childhood crap, cool. Right. Rage away. Have fun with it. Right. I just, it takes too much to get me riled up. So have fun with it. And, I think it was Andy Frisella that said, look, if somebody's not getting pissed off from your content, then you're not being authentic. You're trying to please everybody.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I used to like.
He's also the one that said, "Oh yeah."
His new podcast he's doing is going right down the toilet for me.
Really?
He's spending his entire show going, "I told you so," and it's really kind of annoying. His old stuff, MF CEO, was really good. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. But his new stuff, I turned him out.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that he said in his old podcast was that, the people who are complaining in your business, calling up saying, hey, I don't like this or that. It's like, those can be your biggest champions. If you can turn them and leverage them, it's like the loud mouth, so it's good to have the loud people around.
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, I've just found over the years that people that do bitch and moan are the ones that just really want to be heard. And they aren't always 100% against the words coming out of your mouth. They just want to get their point across. And oftentimes, if you just let them get their words out, they're not mad at you. They don't hate you. They just want to be heard. So let them be heard.
That's a real thing. When we had Jared Hanning on the show, that was one of the things that he talked about. I don't remember if it was on the show that he said this or after, but how nobody can hear anything until they've heard themselves first. So it's like you got to hear what they are thinking. And even if it means you're saying out loud what they just said to you, as soon as they hear their own thoughts, then they can hear yours. And
along those lines, I don't know who said it. This is not my phrase, but as soon as you've offended somebody, there's no logical conversation left. There's no genuine, gentle debate. Once it's gone personal, logic goes out the window. Unless you're Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
Well, Donnie, thanks for taking the time to let us get a little personal with you. I know there's a lot more we could drill into, but our listeners are going to get tired of listening to my voice at least. So we'll definitely have to talk soon. And make sure that you catch our podcast with Donnie, because Donnie's going to teach us a little something about networking. Or at least we hope so, right? And then, guys, also make sure you catch some of our other Deciding Factor extras. Donnie also appeared in one of our Think Fast segments, so check it out as well. And make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see y'all soon. Everyone say bye.
See ya.
Later.
Bye.
This has been another episode of the Deciding Factor Extra, giving you food for thought on real-life issues. Be sure to click, like, and subscribe to this podcast, as well as all your big social media outlets, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Don't forget to check out our website, thedecidingfactorpodcast.com, and give us comments and feedback. Until next time, stay safe and keep an open mind.